All right, super excited to have my friend Brett out of Melbourne, Florida, with Enlightening All with us today. And Brett, you've got a lot of exciting stuff going on. You've got a huge program that's being launched here soon that's going to be like a reality TV, and you're working with a lot of people down in Florida, and you've been using some of the products and getting great results. So, with all that being said, welcome to the podcast. How you doing down there today?
Great, Sean. Thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to talking to you about this. You sent me this a year ago, right at Christmas time, and I said I wanted to test it for a long time before I did a review. And I actually used this product for an entire year as a hair dryer and body dryer after the shower. It takes like 10 minutes a day, and saw great hair growth, wrinkle reducing. Lots of great benefits from it. I do on my skin, even just the texture of my skin by using it on the highest level. You can use it on extra hot and you don't burn yourself because your skin is damp. So I found it works really well that way and gave me great results.
That's awesome. And I'm really happy you got the results. You do a lot of yoga and a lot of wellness consulting and classes and different things down there. What kind of results have you gotten with some of the people that you work with? Have there been people down there also getting benefits from using it?
Well, I haven't really used this on other people. I was using it on myself. I mean, I've used it on other people occasionally to show them how it works and some
Yeah.
demos at the class, but no one has taken it home and used it extensively to give me a result off it. And that's something that where I'm looking forward to doing now that I have the place. We just opened the studio a month ago, and we're just trying to get traction now. We're actually doing a holistic wellness biohacking event here on January 24th. And that's going to be limited to 100 people. We're going to have 16 different vendors, and you get to taste test all the different vendors.
It's amazing. That is going to be a great conference, and I'm very excited to try to get down there myself. I just want to circle back with the Terahertz wand. The first thing you were talking about is hair growth. How thick and how much hair have you grown back in, say, the last year or so?
Well, it's grown to where I don't have to work hard to do a comb over on the back of my head anymore. It filled it in on the top and stuff, and it grows faster. It's just heating and I think stimulating the scalp, but even the face and doing it in your mouth
Yes.
keeps your teeth clean with that black
Yep.
light. I really try to get in there.
Yep.
Um, Breathing it through the nose, and it has done an exceptional job. I have not been getting as like over the last year, can't remember having a cold over the last year since I've been using this because I keep breathing it in through my nose. If I feel like I've got allergies or a cold coming on, I just keep breathing in the heat through my nose and my mouth, and it seems to work. I don't know yet. I can't tell because I haven't had one, but that's pretty impressive to say.
That is very impressive. And I've had other people too talk about how it's removing the bags under the eyes.
Hmm.
So I have a lady actually. We just put her testimonial up in the last few days. She's a phenomenal sort of a scientist, if you will, and she really understands like the science of what's actually happening with rebonding the hydrogen with the uh, hydrogen and oxygen bonds and the red light, blue light, and what that's doing to create these energy fields that basically detoxifies. It increases circulation, cellular regeneration, and it really opens up the flow for basically clogged parts of the body that start to create issues where you can address that, fix it, and literally bringing negative ions into areas with a lot of positive ions, which is really good for reducing pain and soreness and arthritis, which is another big thing. We've had a lot of people, though, like yourself, that have talked about the improvement of thickening of hair. And Brett, not to put you on the spot, brother, but you are the living, breathing word of anti-aging. So, with that being said, do you mind telling us how old you are?
I'm 55, and you can see I got gray in the chin, but that's from stress and hard work. But other than that, I'm pretty gray free. And it was funny because I tell people I could actually move into a 55 and up retirement community, and they all laugh because they can't believe I'm younger than them when I talk to them. A lot of times people are that I'm older than them. A lot of times people will think I'm younger than them and I'm actually older. So
Yeah.
it's common.
Which also ties into your lifestyle, which ties into the yoga and ties into some of the other things that you're doing there that I want to get into more detail on. And then let's talk about the skin. Like, what have you noticed about the skin? You were talking about reduced wrinkles.
Yes, the tiny fine lines around the eyes. I
Yep.
used to get Botox, and I haven't got Botox really since I believe I had it one or two times since COVID. I used to get it regularly, and I've noticed it diminished the lines around my eyes. There used to be I used to get it. I don't need it now, so that I can say. And it's been at least a year since I've had it or more.
Well, it's interesting because I've talked about the Botox, the red light, and when Botox first came out, which I want to say ballpark, maybe it was about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, that was all the rage because at that time there really wasn't a lot of alternative options per se. Botox was definitely something that had shown results. Some people using it for reducing headaches, which I'm sure it probably still has value for that. But in this day and age right now, the thing that's nice is that there is a lot of technology that's come out to address the skin, to address the wrinkles, to address, better, more flexible skin, if you will, and reducing the wrinkles. The Botox obviously is still very popular, but I think what's happening is that with the published FDA science showing how beneficial red light is for not just reducing wrinkles, but improving overall skin quality. And then you have the terahertz wand, which is increasing or adding the red light, the blue light, the terahertz frequency, the crystal, and all the different magnetic fields that it's bringing in. It's really helping to almost rejuvenate skin. So it's giving you so much more value than just the anti-wrinkle part of it. And I think now with the masks and some of the other things that we've got, people are really taking a serious look at that and going, hey, is it worth buying a device one time and using it like you do, coming out of the shower, on the hair, on the face there for a bit, and getting those types of results, than having to go and get these procedures done every 4 to 6 months or however often that's done. And just having one device right now that can handle a whole host of various different health benefits. What would your thoughts be on that?
Oh, I do it. I'd sit there and I use it on the bottoms of my feet and top of my feet because I've got arthritic toes. I have bone on my toes, on my big toes. I was a runner and did triathlons and stuff. They're just worn out. They hurt, and it works. I do feel benefit when the soothing heat going into them. So it's hard to say what's all helping because I do so many things, but I do feel that there is benefit from this device. I mean, you can feel it. I mean, if I have something, if I have like, let's say, acne growing on my shoulder or something or anything, boy, I put it right on it. I like it, it just stops it right then its tracks. If I see it starting, I just keep using the wand on it for, a few minutes a day and until it goes away. Or it causes it to erupt sooner, either way.
Yeah.
But I'm not getting like things like that anymore. Oh, and styes on my eyes. I've actually had at least 8 styes removed off my eyes. Like I get them, you know, that I have to do stuff with them. But with this, since I'm putting this on my eyes every day, I haven't gotten a sty since. So
That's amazing. That is amazing. And are you putting it directly on, or are you like giving yourself a couple inches
no,
space
I'm
to?
putting it directly on. I put it on the medium setting though,
Yeah,
the
the
slow
medium is
setting.
the
Yeah.
soft setting,
And I
is the
hold it
soft
on
setting.
that like that. I put it right on them.
Yeah.
I do close my eye. I don't look into it because I don't want to blind
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah.
the amount of light. Okay, and if anyone's asking if this is going to hurt your vision, I've been doing it for a year, and actually my vision looks pretty crispy. It actually looks better now. I don't know if it's this or the sound bowls because I also do it to dry out my ears and everything. But my hearing from playing guitar and listening to loud music in all my younger years was, I feel, slightly diminished. My hearing is so much better right now that when I close a cabinet too hard, it actually makes my ears hurt. Like, think that noise. I'm hearing higher pitch frequencies. Now, it's a combination of me playing singing bowls every day now and this. I don't know because I've been playing singing bowls a lot more now that I have the studio.
Yeah.
And at first, like I thought singing bowls were hurting my ears, but I think they're helping my ears.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the frequency with sound bowls, and that's just such an ancient science that I interviewed a lady, atlantasoundhealing.com, who's a PhD that knows so much about it. And when you get into all the benefits of sound therapy, it's really mind-blowing. In fact, we do have that sound frequency watch that I'm going to have to get down there to you so you can demo that for us. And that has 1,100 different frequency sets. So you can tune it into just about anything and everything. And the power of sound is actually very, very powerful.
yes,
Um,
I
I
have
do
the
want to.
original Wave Watch. You sent me a Wave Watch at the same time you sent me this.
Oh, I did.
I
Okay.
do. I have the big one. I have the big
Yeah.
Wave Watch, and I've
Yeah.
wore it a lot. I've wore it a lot. One of the things on the Wave Watch is I like to put it on the chakra settings because you
Yep.
can't hear it. It's kind of
Yep.
hard to hear. Some of the settings aren't the best sounding, but with the chakra ones, you can turn it up to full volume and wear it all day, and the battery lasts the whole day.
Yeah.
That one, if you balance all your chakras out, everything else almost happens automatically.
Interesting. I love that.
Because look,
It's funny.
the Kundalini chart. Hold on, I got to grab this. Let me grab this.
Yeah. Grab it.
Kundalini energy flow. And it's funny, you look at the chart of it and it looks like the medical symbol. And you can
Yeah.
see the incoming hand and the
Yep.
outgoing hand and how the energy
Yep.
flows in a circle. Really, with Kundalini yoga, and doing the chakras with the bowls. And then I match up each color doing yoga nidra. So, like, I'll tell the people when I'm working the throat bowl that they're going to feel the white golden light coming into their throat. And then it's going into their heart when I'm playing the heart bowl. And I walk them down through it. They can feel it hitting each one as I do it. And then I found an amazing hold that I use crystals in their hands and their toes. And if I do a lock on the crystals that are in their toes at the end of it, and it's a female, it will do yin yang, feminine, masculine balance that you feel shoot through your bodies instantly in
Wow.
1 minute. And everyone that's done it goes, they can't even believe they're feeling that amount of energy flow through them.
That's amazing.
And a woman can do it to a man can do it to a woman, but if you try doing it to the same sex, it barely does anything. You can actually balance that. And if you read what enlightenment is, it says balancing all the chakras, including the masculine and the feminine. Well, if you're a man, how do you balance the masculine? And if you're a woman, how do you balance the feminine? I may have found a way to do both.
I love that. Brett, what's really awesome is that, we've got a wellness center here, but you've got your center down there. So one of the things is you're always working with people and you're always seeing in real time the benefits and the results that come from the work that you do. And at 55 years young, you've got a lot of experience and you've learned a lot in this lifetime of accumulating and being in these fields. So it's really nice for you to be able to kind of work with these people, develop all this, wellness sort of technology, even though it doesn't necessarily require technology. We're talking crystals and singing bowls or healing bowls, right?
Mhm.
So that is also really, really fascinating, which I love that you're, firsthand on experience. I want to circle back to something real quick, and then I want to
Okay.
get back into talking about the center.
Okay.
When you're talking about using it on the mouth and you're talking about using it for acne and these different things, one question that I get, obviously, is how does the terahertz wand work? Well, for anybody out there that doesn't know, the terahertz frequency sits right next to red light frequency. So it's a high frequency field or high frequency section of the frequency chart. And basically, what it does, it gets your cells to their optimal vibrational rate. So cells vibrate, and the healthier the cell, the higher the vibration. And we'll say, as an example, healthy cells vibrate at about 15,000 vibrations per second. Now, when you're using a terahertz wand, what it's doing is it's finding cells that are running at 10, 11, 12, and it's bringing them back up to their optimal vibration, their peak optimal performance, if you will. Bacteria, fungus, and what I call garbage cells all resonate at very low frequency. So fungus, bacteria, pathogens, they vibrate at a very low frequency. So when they're put into a high frequency vibration, it's like putting them on a treadmill and all they can do is walk, but you've got them on run mode. So your healthy cells want to run, 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 and unhealthy cells and those types of cells can only walk slow. So when you put them on a treadmill that's moving at 15 miles an hour in run mode, the unhealthy cells get thrown off the treadmill, basically get destroyed. So that frequency set when you're running it is basically killing off or destroying all of the lower frequency stuff, which is the stuff that you don't want. So say bacteria in the mouth or say, viruses, people use it a lot on a sore throat. The other thing is that because it's got quartz crystal, red light, blue light, and the terahertz frequency, the culmination of all four of those allows it to penetrate about 8 inches into the body. So we do get a lot of people also, like if you put it on the throat, it's going to totally penetrate into the throat area. If you put it on, say, a part of your stomach, it'll penetrate in and get to the organs. So some people use it on their heart, some people use it like with COPD on their lungs. And then you've got, like you said, I think one of the smartest and best things that the original manufacturers talked about over 10 years ago was using it on the bottom of the feet and the hands because of all the pressure points. And so all those pressure points and all those areas down there, when you're using it on your feet, you're literally sending energy to all parts of your body because you're opening up those meridians, sending energy through them, which is the exact same principle of how reflexology and acupuncture and all these really sort of ancient types of holistic therapy work. So I really do appreciate that. And, just because I've been doing it a while, I wanted to just bring up, and that's why it's good for acne as well, because acne, generally speaking, is, bacteria and stuff that's getting underneath the skin that's causing it to sort of puff out. And when you can go after it and start killing that bacteria under the skin, then it helps the skin anyway, but it's also getting rid of some of the underlying issues that are causing acne and different types of problems. So I really do appreciate
Right. And
it.
okay, then that brings up a point. I have rosacea and I have a scar on my cheek that is from a rosacea growth that would not go away. And I had to go to the doctor. They put me on not hydroxychloroquine. What's the other one? Ivermectin. They put me on ivermectin cream, and that was the first thing that cleared it up. And I've been fighting it for years, and I got scarring on my face. And that's part of what was giving me styes, they think, is rosacea, because I have just a slight bit of redness in my blonde hair.
Right.
And so they said I'm susceptible to rosacea for that. And I haven't had any rosacea flare-ups since I've been using this as well. And even a couple of little tiny ones I put the ivermectin cream on it and hit this with it, and it was gone in a day. And
Yeah.
I've never got it gone that quick. So
Yes.
with putting the ivermectin cream and that, it is making it super fast. And you can't say, hey, there's medical reasons for some of these things, like ivermectin's made out of natural products. So there are things that are good for you that sometimes you need a pill for.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's still always going to be a need at some level for other, types of background medical treatment. But the one thing also that's good you bring that up is that it's not classified as a medical device.
Mhm.
So it's not to be, construed as if you have a serious health condition, consult a medical professional. And even though you're getting results, and we've got thousands of people that have had great results, we don't make any claims that other people will get the same results. But we are seeing that this is really starting to, after the last 5 years of doing this now, and with all the testimonials, and these things had been out for 10 years prior before they made it to the States. They were used in Malaysia and the Philippines and other areas in Asia. There's a lot of parts of the world where a lot of newer technology is there first before it even makes its way to the States, which I find interesting, but actually quite true. Japan is always seems to be 3 or 4 years ahead of us with new tech, but with all that being said, this little device has had so many benefits. The other thing that I might just suggest as well is that if you point it at a glass of water and you use it, basically pointing it at the water for about 30 to 45 seconds and drink it, it does also help with higher levels of hydration. It helps with getting fungus and cleansing the cell. And people do report that they do get better benefit when used in the wand for various different things. So that's another
Mhm.
thing to consider.
Well, we are water. So if we're 80% water and water is vibrational energy, that's how we're changing the vibration by putting different vibration of water in us as hearing it outside with a singing bowl or using a wand. And does this use scalar waves that I saw in that thing? Does there
It
something with
does.
scalar? Okay.
Mhm.
How does the scalar wave technology, how does that work? How does it, is it
So
just that the way that
basically,
it rolls the waves through it?
yeah, it's exactly right. And it's got, if you look at the end of it, it's got that big piece of quartz in it.
Hmm.
And quartz basically creates a magnetic field when it goes through that. And then it's got chips in there. You've got the red light. You see the blue light for us because red light comes in a multiple group of spectrums. Our eyes are only actually able to see about 7% of the light spectrum. So there
Hmm.
are different variations of infrared and red light that we can't see. But just like dogs have a better sense of hearing and a better sense of smell, there some creatures have better. Our eyes actually are probably pretty good considering other animals that don't see as well as we do. But there
Well,
are
here's
parts.
one thing I wonder about this because you see two rainbows, and when you see a
Yeah.
double stacked rainbow, everything you can't see between the two rainbows is light that's
Yes,
outside the spectrum that we can see. So it shows you there's a lot. Sometimes
there is
rainbows
a
look pretty
lot.
far apart. There's a lot between them.
There is a
So,
lot.
yes, and anything could be hiding within them. And that's how I figured out how to color shift things. So I do videos at the beach in the morning, and I'll point my camera straight at the rising sun. And then what you can do is you video like for 10 straight minutes at a sunrise, and then you slowly scan your phone across the footage. And what you do is you color shift it. You bring out the the brightness and the contrast, and you adjust the saturation. And suddenly, by changing that, you're changing the colors and you start bringing out things in the sky that you could not see. And I
Wow.
actually see moving like ships in the sky that I have videoed. You can see them on my channel that I found because it either reflects the sun or it blocks the sun. When there's something moving in the air, it has to do one of those two things. So if you're shifting the colors and you couldn't see it before, you can see it with the color shift, and you will see more stuff move in the sky than you realize.
Wow, that's amazing. What's interesting also is that sunrise and sunset are the two most powerful times of the day from an energy perspective because the rays of the sun are going directly across the atmosphere from a horizontal angle and not a vertical angle. And the sun and the rays of the sun going completely through the atmosphere create this large energy charge in the atmosphere. So at those times of the day when the sun's at an angle, and that light is going horizontally across, those are always the best times to get outside, get fresh air. Like you said, get some deep breathing in, maybe a walk or some yoga, whatever it might be. But in the yoga field and in Vedic, history, those are always the most powerful times. There's actually yogis and sadhus that would do what they call sun gazing, where they can literally absorb the energy of the sun and use that to charge and run their bodies and live off little or no food.
I've seen that. And this morning, I literally, my post today on Facebook, if you take a look at it, I posted the sunrise. I was going out there staring at the sunrise and had my foot planted on a palm tree. And I showed grounding on a tree while you're watching the sunrise just this morning as my post.
This is such a good segue, Brett, because now we're going to talk about grounding, which is so powerful. Like I want to do these big videos on reducing inflammation and getting more energy and creating better blood and better sleep and all these things. It's
Mhm.
all done by basically grounding slash earthing. And just for anybody that's out there wondering, what is the difference between grounding and earthing, or what the heck is it to begin with? Earthing is what you're doing when you're directly touching the earth. So when your feet are on the earth, you're absorbing the energy of the earth and bringing electrons into the body, which are so important for basically neutralizing free radical cells. Free radical cells are cells that are missing electrons and they are unstable and they cause a lot of inflammation in the body. So the minute your body is touching the earth or a tree, which is actually embedded into the earth, probably bringing up even more electrons, you're immediately reducing inflammation. You're bringing electrons in that coat the red blood cell. So your blood is not clumping and clotting, which a lot of people have. It's electron deficiency because they're not touching the earth. And then grounding is the process of doing that, but using a fabric or another type of material. So since the 1950s, there's been uh, construction codes where you have to have a copper rod outside your house. A grounding rod is what it's actually called. And if there's ever a surge in electrical energy, lightning strike or something, it comes into the building, and then that grounding channel takes it and sends it into that grounding rod, which neutralizes that charge. But because copper is conductive, it brings that electrical frequency from the earth and those electrons from the grounding rod up to the outlet. And then we sell the anti-aging blankets and pillowcases, which are 40% silver. And then those basically bring the electrons in the body. So when you're laying on the fabric, it's non-different than basically being outside and grounding or earthing, I should say. But people say earthing, grounding, it's the same thing, just two different modalities of how it's being done. And for me right now in Virginia, it's going to be in the 50s today, but it got a little cooler last week. It's, and for people in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Canada, hey, you know what? If it's a little tough to get outside and get your feet on the ground, get some grounding technology and you can lay in bed every night, go to sleep, and get 8 hours of grounding, which reduces the inflammation, better sleep, less anxiety, deeper REM sleep, good for the blood, good for inflammation, more energy, more recovery. I love the fact that you get to do it on the beach every day because then you're getting all those negative ions that are coming off the crashing of the waves in the ocean. And you're
Mhm.
out there in the Earth's atmosphere when that sun's coming up, which is the golden time of the day right there. As a
It
guy that lived
is.
in San Diego for almost 30 years, man, my highlight of my day would be getting up in the morning and walking the beach and watching sunset or
Hmm.
sunrise or
Hmm.
both.
Hmm. Yes. Oh, absolutely. And I got to get out there more. I've been working so many hours the last couple of months trying to get this place going. I have not been there. I used to go at least like 3 times a week, and get that morning energy twice a week at least.
Yeah.
And it does, it resets you when I go that week and I go for like a couple mile walk and just go in the water and let that the healing water, also the salt water, the salt air going through your
Yeah.
lungs. I
Oh
breathe
yeah.
so free and clear when I leave there.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible.
It's body, mind, spirit too. I mean, it's good. Like you feel good after you've been out there, just like your whole body just feels good. You've absorbed that energy and that vibration of the earth and the atmosphere. It's just it's magical.
And
It's
the sunlight that you don't get if you stay cooped up inside and put suntan lotion all over yourself, because then you don't get vitamin D3 from the sun. And if you don't eat eggs with yolks, then you don't get K3, K2 so your body can actually take in the D3 from the sun.
So, Brett, let's segue into Enlightening All. Let's talk about this amazing facility and the things that you've got going on down there. And then you're going to be launching sort of a reality show, which hopefully will be a part of that at some level.
Yes. No,
Because
I
I
want
want
you
to
to
be
be. I
able,
want you to show
I want to
positive
be able,
results.
I want to do stuff like this where we can interview the guests and be a part of it and segue and get it on our channel. Because we are launching a new channel in 2026. It's called the Healthy Life Channel and it's about living healthy lives. And down there in Melbourne, Florida, brother, you are leading the charge. I mean, everything you're talking about is exactly what all of us, the lifestyle we want to live, and we adapt to the areas that we're at to do that. But tell us about the principle, the philosophy, and what a day in the life is like at the Enlightening All Studios.
Well, that's what I wanted to bring, is just so I can show people how you can be younger and act younger, roll around on the floor again, act like a kid again, and actually get your body moving again. I have clients. I have one right now that she's made a huge impact in her life. She needs a kidney transplant, and she needs to lose 15 pounds. And I've been working with her, and she can touch her toes again. She's 63, hasn't touched them in years. And she's now feeling motivated and active again. She can already see the difference. Like, she needs to cinch up her belt on her pants. Like, things are happening that she can already feel after 3 weeks. Like, people are telling her skin looks different, or like she glows. That's the thing that you get when you start working your body at every angle. If you do yoga every day, think about this. You're stretching like a basketball player. You're extending your muscles. You're still making little tears, just like you do when weightlifting, except you're elongating your muscles instead of compacting them and crushing them like a bodybuilder. And if you work your muscles at every angle every day, creating these micro tears, no matter how far you bend back, how far you stretch, your body has to create growth hormone and testosterone and all the other stuff to heal you. But you're not healing yourself like, I'm going to break down my chest today doing 100 reps with 300 pounds on the bench press. Okay, you're overtaxing your body, you're overtaxing your joints rather than working them at their optimal at every angle, and now letting your body repair all of that. Your skin just starts glowing in days.
I
I
love
mean,
that.
you'll see differences. You'll feel the differences within weeks.
Yeah, I mean, yoga itself is is a very well documented art form, physical art form that goes back thousands and thousands of years. And it's interesting because we get into a lot of ancient technology and ancient lifestyle and things like that, and you learn that these civilizations were highly advanced. And so yoga also being one of the core ways of doing exercise is for longevity, probably one of the best forms of exercise you can do.
Well, and you don't need equipment. Your body is your gym. Do you think they had equipment back in the old days? I mean, they could lift rocks, but why would you do that? Because lifting rocks would be building what you were building back then. That would be your actual work, was making roads and buildings, and you had to hunt and gather and do those things. So for your physical stretching of your whole entire body and your wellness, just like a cat or dog rolls around and flexes their body at every angle on the ground, even a horse, you watch them roll on their back, stretching and flexing and turning and moving and jumping. They know you got to keep everything moving to stay loose, or your body starts tightening up and rotting, because we're put forward in a desk all day. Our arms are forward all day. We're always in a forward motion that no one can do a back bend anymore.
So Brett, what is a day like there? You guys do yoga classes? What other are there other activities that you're
Well,
that
I do
you
the sound bowl healing, sound
the
baths.
sound bowl? Yes.
Yes, sound baths. Sound baths are incredible because that gets your vibrational energies going. You just feel changed when you're done. And after every yoga class, I do a yoga nidra shavasana, where I take everyone into a meditation where they feel white golden light coming through the top of their head, coming through their whole body, coming out to the bottom of their feet. And they feel all that going through them as I do each bowl that corresponds to that chakra in the body.
That's beautiful. You know what's interesting is we work with a lot of plasma energy technology, and the plasma energy technology goes to exactly what you're talking about, because that energy field that you showed on that chart is recursive, like almost like the shape of a heart. And that's exactly how all life on the planet, the universe, is all working on these recursive energy fields where it cycles up through the head, comes down through the feet, and splits. We would call it a torus. But when we are creating these plasma energy fields with some of the technology we have here, it's basically doing that. And that plasma energy field, which is what your aura and consciousness is composed of, becomes a mindful and intelligent energy field. It taps into the frequency of your DNA, and therefore it becomes mindful and intelligent. So things like intention and where your thoughts are based is also going to have an effect on the outcome of the results you get. And then we've got these pieces of software which I could pull up on my phone. I'll skip it, but it basically, we can run very specific frequency sets for very specific parts of the body. And then we've got the full chakra cascade, which is our ultimate, like, end all frequency set that we run, that does exactly what you talked about, aligning and getting all the chakras sort of charged and back into alignment and in their full sort of cycle. So it's actually interesting how the natural part of what you're doing also has like a technology component And that technology, Brett, is inscribed in hieroglyphics in Egypt. And it's clear that they were using these types of technologies thousands of years ago.
Yes. Oh, I believe it. They knew. And why do you think the medical symbol looks exactly like the Kundalini symbol? Look at that. Come on. Do you know they know it works? That's why they used it.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
Yeah,
then they
it's
make you
really
sound like a snake oil salesman if you talk about it. Isn't that funny?
yeah, it is. But I think, in this reality, people are starting to see through some of the nonsense because at my age, I'm 59. Dude, they were giving us mercury fillings and telling us that was good for us. And I saw a TV commercial with Joe Namath smoking cigarettes saying, hey, these are great for you. And I remember when they said, hey, get off the butter and start doing margarine. And I've been through this whole thing where this is what's good for you. And if you don't like it and you don't like being put in our box, then you're out there. But you know what? Enough people have been in that box and have had enough damage done to them at this point where it's like, okay, at 60 years old, I've seen this nonsense play out over various different things, over different things. And so I'm not, if they say it's good, I think it's bad. And if they say it's bad, I think it's good. And so that's how my reality works. And
Mhm.
if for any reason they're telling me that I'm the kook, then I'm like, okay, great. Go get your mercury filling, smoke a pack of Marlboros, and let's catch up in about
And
5 years
follow
and see
that
how
health food, follow
and
that
see how you're
food
doing, and I'll
pyramid.
see how I'm doing.
Yeah. I want you to follow that food pyramid that says that cereal is better than steak. You follow
Yeah.
that, I'll eat the steak, and let's see how we're both doing a year from now.
Well,
Yeah.
let's just take a look at where the obesity rates of the United States are from following this because they came in and did everything around and said, we're not making enough money on all these different parts of breaking down the body. So rather than building up the body, let's reconstruct everything to break it down and create this massive amount of health issues, which is highly profitable. And, hospitals being like hotels don't make money if they're not full. So let's figure out all these different things we can do. And heaven forbid we teach our doctors anything about nutrition. That is like banished. That,
Oh,
oh, you're
yeah.
woo woo. You want to learn about nutrition, you're woo woo. It's like, okay, I've been in this world long enough to know that if I don't conform to the reality of what people think is good for them, I'm totally good with that. And I love everybody, so I don't really care what side of the fence they're on, or even open like we are to both things. Because, like you said, there are times when there are some things in the medical world that are necessary that are actually really beneficial from time to time. I would just say anytime you're making a trip to the emergency room, you've had a car accident, there's things going on with broken bones. God bless them. There are certain things that are obviously out there that are very beneficial, and I appreciate all those modern things that we've got. But there are certain things that are being, kind of pushed on us that this is good and that's not so good. It's like, yeah, I think I'll do my own due diligence at this point, but I do appreciate your feedback.
Yes. And getting all putting like putting seed oils in all the French fries and all the
Oh,
foods and everything. And then they knew beef tallow was better for you and just butter. Just fry your eggs in butter. Just cook everything in butter. Regular whole butter.
well, in India, right, they have ghee, and ghee's been used for thousands of years. And ghee is basically a purified form of butter where they boil the ghee and they skim off any of the things that are not so good. But when I was a kid, and dude, this is crazy. I used to work at McDonald's. Like the first job I had was working at McDonald's, and we would get these tubs of shortening that was literally almost like it looked like Vaseline is what it looked like, right? And when you first got it, it was hard and it was like soft, and you had to take these scoops and dump them in the fryer. And once you heated it up, it melted, and that's what you cooked the fries in. But if you imagine that that stuff's only going to stay liquid when it's like at about 150 to 200 degrees, once it gets in the body and it hardens back up again, it's not really necessarily good for you, let's just say, in a very kind way. And so that's my thing, same thing with butter, or with margarine. Margarine, everybody's like, oh, you got to have margarine and da 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 da. It's like, okay, you got to have margarine. But margarine was very much the same. It's certain states of heat, it can be liquefied, but it's not the same as something like pure butter, where you've got thousands of years of using it. And, all these health issues really are going this way on the
Right. Well,
chart
all the
right now.
heart attacks started right at the
Yeah.
time that they came out with the vegetable cooking greases.
Yeah.
Go look at
I've
the charts, and that's really when it started. There was heart attacks were not a commonplace in the world until that was invented.
Yeah, and then you talk about seed oils, which I'm not as hip to that as I should be, but I just had Zarifa, and I've got other people around me that are like, beware of seed oils, like beware of seed oils. And the funny thing is that there is a lot of science on it, which we're going to talk about, coming up next year on our new channel, where we do a lot of just informational stuff about what to do, what not to do, what's good, what might not be so good. But it's interesting that when you start identifying how bad seed oils are, you don't have to use seed oils. Like, you can use olive oil, but for whatever reason, they're opting in to put seed oils in, and they know that it's inflammatory. They know it's not good for you. Or if they don't know,
Well,
they should.
who thought we were supposed to eat soybean oil or palm kernel oil? Those weren't foods. No one could manufacture that stuff back in the old days. They wouldn't have ate those ingredients. And that's why we
No.
have eye teeth. You know, there's
Yeah.
there's a variety of things. You would have starved to death if you would have tried to live on those things back then. So none of what they teach you now has to do anything with history. And the people that have lived long lives on natural products did it. They did it, and
Yeah.
you can do it again. And that's why the people in the Asian countries so much thinner. They live on fish and rice, and look, they stay thin, they stay healthy. Nikola Tesla said, don't go over your weight, because your joints aren't meant to hold that. Your body's not meant to hold additional weight. It's a device that's meant, like, you're not taking a car and trying to turn it into a four-wheel drive pickup truck. It's a car. Okay. Your body isn't meant to be overtaxed. And that's why you're going to hurt when you're old if you don't stretch it now and keep your weight under control, because it causes low back problems with your belly hanging out. There's so many issues. It causes debilitating issues, because if I just tried to walk around with two 50-pound dumbbells or two 25-pound dumbbells saying you're 50 pounds or 100 pounds overweight, think what a load that is on your joints all day to carry those dumbbells around.
Oh, yeah. And then it really makes you conscious of how much that extra weight is really carrying you. And I'm a guy right now that is carrying extra weight, through a whole host of really good excuses, actually, Brett. Like, I'm the master of excuses. However, I will say that I'm back into the let's get highly fit and get back into great shape mode.
I
So
wish you were here by me. I wish you were here by me. I'm going to show you some example here. Look at this.
let's check it out,
This
brother.
this is me at 18 years old at my high school graduation. And then that day I went to the beach and I put that necklace on that my grandmother gave me for my graduation present. But that's in 1988. That's the year of Back to the Future. The
Wow.
1988. So I feel like I reset myself to that, because I am the exact same height and weight as when I graduated high school. I'm 165 pounds, 165 then and now. So
That's phenomenal.
I told everyone I wasn't going to age, and I did it. I stayed the same height, weight, and shape. Now, I did push myself up to 200 at one point because I was doing a lot of heavy weightlifting. I was doing triathlons and stuff. But I went and paid the price for it, because a lot of it came back to hurting his body injuries later in life now, that I beat myself up too hard doing those things. But look, here's my studio so people can take a glance at it here.
Place
We
is
have
beautiful.
room for 30 mats. I have 7-foot mats that are 30 inches wide, and we have foam roller logs, and I teach people how to use foam roller logs in the blocks. And then we also have 3-pound dumbbells, so we can still do some light weights, which really teaches you how to just keep correct form, because you can make 3-pound dumbbells feel like 20-pound dumbbells if you do it right, and that's
Exactly
what
right.
the whole thing is. And then here's my stage and my singing bowls right here. And then these are the crystals I was telling you about, the hand and the toe crystals. I have people holding these in their hands, and I put these in their toes when I do a sound bath on them. And you can see the videos of the sound baths, but you actually feel it going through your hands and coming up through your feet when I do a sound bath with those crystals in. And what I did is I bought 36 sets of those crystals. So I have enough for the entire class to do the crystals at the same time. And then I also I have tables and seating for 76 people. And I can, well, the capacity of the place is 76. So this way we can put on like networking events and stuff like that and educational events. I'm working on doing that biohacking event. There's gonna be 16 booths in this area, and then my area will be the whole carpeted area. And then just to show you, this is what it looked like on April 17th, 2025. So this is what it looked like earlier this year. Me and my wife worked on our hands and knees for 2 months, repainting, re-cleaning, surfacing every part of this building. And you can see now that exact same picture. Look at that.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. That place is beautiful.
It went from that was so much work. And then now I've got 3 women's bathrooms, and these are the 3 women's bathrooms. And then I have 5 men's or 2 men's bathrooms. So there's 5 total bathrooms.
Wow.
Health. I got health drinks and health snacks. But what I wanted to do was get pricing back to pre-COVID pricing. Look at this. $1 waters, $2 seltzers, $3 energy drinks, $4 kombuchas, 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at that. You could eat here for like $8. You could eat a lunch. You could have a yogurt or granola bar and a kombucha and not eat McDonald's.
That is absolutely phenomenal. Wow, man, you are leading the charge when it comes to like ultimate health and wellness. But you know, the beautiful part, Brett, is you're living it too. You know, people come to me and say, well, I want to go into the med bed that reverses you 20 years, right?
Mhm.
But nobody wants to do the work to reverse themselves back on a cellular level, you know, by living healthy and eating healthy. Everybody wants to do it by just being a slug and jumping into a tub and letting some technology device do it, and then they jump back out again and let themselves fall apart. It's like if you want to anti-age and you want to reverse age, you're doing it all the right ways with diet, exercise, and all the things we talk about.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to do. And then look, so you can see we have 100 parking spots out here. So there's no limit to parking. And then here is the entrance way. So you can see we've got a double entrance here. There you go, coming in.
Somebody's out there and they're in the Melbourne, Florida area, they are super lucky. So Cape Canaveral, that whole area around there, Cocoa Beach. But if somebody is watching you from, say, New York or New Jersey, are there things that you can do to help people remotely?
Oh yes, I could. I could absolutely. And I got some really good ideas on my website and on my social media. If you follow me, you'll see I post things frequently. I have something that I'm going to be talking about today. Um, I'm going to be doing a quick podcast about oregano oil. Oregano oil. I'm
Yes.
going to tell you this. I had heartburn for years. My wife had IBS. She found it online, this thing about trying oregano oil. So she tried it for IBS. I tried it for my heartburn, and we were both cured of it. Now, I'm not going to say cure. I can't say cure, but we're both better. I don't have heartburn. And if I start getting it, I just take a couple of them. What you get is you get pizza burps as a side effect.
Yeah. And oregano oil is super good for reducing inflammation. Super good. So I do have oregano oil at the house, but anytime I've had anything going on in the body, even cold and flu, it's like, all right, start pumping the oregano oil because there's something about that that's a huge anti-inflammatory and it's really good for a whole host of things, which anybody could go out there and Google. I do remember that when I had an abscess in my left jaw, I used the Terahertz Wand for 4 days and took oregano oil. And within 4 days, it not only was it gone, but by the time I got to the dentist, they couldn't even find it.
It's interesting that I bring up one thing and you've used the exact same product with the exact same terahertz wand. See, we are more connected in that we all know these things. The people that are in this industry know what it is. And we can help so many people in so many ways because we've probably identified 100 different things each that we know work in our lives.
Yeah. And things that we know to stay away from, and things that we know to say, look, I mean, this stuff isn't, it's contaminating our food supply. But the number one thing to do to get it cleaned up is to not support it and stop purchasing it. You
Hmm.
know, I was telling somebody the other day, you know, a lot of these food companies are making one kind of food for us in the States and another kind of food for people in Europe because some of the stuff in Europe is banned. So they have to actually make and formulate it differently for international. And the only reason they're still making it differently here is because we're not revolting with buying it. You know, we're
Hmm.
not saying, all right, my dollar is going to go to the food that's going to be cleaner, where the companies actually care more about what's the ingredients inside more so than if it looks a certain way or has a certain type of texture or whatever the reasoning is, which you know, who knows and who cares. The bottom line is that when you start becoming educated and your dollar at the grocery store starts focusing on buying the healthier options and you start identifying these issues, that's what creates change. So, you know, that we covered some really good topics today,
Yeah, it's but
especially,
I'm glad we're finally getting the colors out of the food. Like I don't need that my grape flavored drink to be so purple that it stains whatever you spill it on. Why can't it be clear? There was clearly Canadian sodas that were clear back when I was working in the restaurant business in the 80s.
yeah.
And it's like, why? Why do we need to put dark food colorings in everything? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, there's a red, I don't know what it's called, red 20 or something that's a food coloring that they can use in the States. They can't use it overseas. So what do? They use beet juice.
Yeah.
So why don't we just use beet juice for all the red and just get rid of the red dye 20 or whatever the heck that stuff is? Because clearly, you know, we're using our kids as sort of test dummies to run all this garbage material through them. It's like, okay, rather than trying to save a buck, just charge an extra two, $3 and give us the better stuff because the amount of money that we're going to spend with the health issues that come from the bad stuff, it doesn't balance out anyway. Plus, you know, we want to live healthier, happier lives, but you know, it comes through a lot of different forms.
Yes.
It's
Well,
not only what you,
bread,
yeah,
most of the breads are not even legal in other countries that are served
no,
here. They're considered bakery desserts. Our bread is.
yeah,
We put too much sugar in it. Bread should taste more like a sourdough, not like the sweetness we have in all of our breads. And then here we're putting like fillers, like 10% sawdust in our breads. I'm telling one of my employees about them, like, this is crazy. And he's like, well, I don't care as long as it tastes good. Well, he's not in shape. And he's like, I don't feel that we should be giving people even money for like food stamp programs, any of that government money, if it has stuff that's not real, like cheese. If it's only fake cheese, processed cheese food, and it's only 51% real cheese and the other is 49 cents percent garbage filler, we are paying for real food for people that are on food stamps. That's wasting government money on those programs.
yeah.
We're not giving people nutritious food. We're actually causing them health problems. Instead, let's give them real, healthy food and make that real.
Yeah. So it's not only what you eat, it's what you don't eat that matters. It's
Yes.
staying away from some of that stuff and being more conscious as a consumer. And then, you know, the exercise and things that you do go further because your body has more energy and more stuff to work with for recovery. And so, you know, we're covering a lot of really good subjects. I love the fact that we're both in our 50s because the goal right now, brother man, is to get to 100 and not be all broken down in 70,
Mm-hmm.
75, and then, you know, barely crossing the finish line. It's like my grandmother lived to 104, God bless her heart, and she was still doing yoga classes at 100, 101, 102. When she passed away, she could still get up the stairs on her own. And I'll never
Wow.
forget what she told me. She said, I saw my grandparents or my parents, they were my great grandparents. And the minute they stopped moving, the minute they stopped exercising, the minute that they gave up on all that and bought into I'm too old or They didn't want to work around an issue or two. They completely the atrophy set in, and they just downgraded, and within a year or so, or a year and a half, they were both gone.
My
And she said,
grandfather did that exact same thing. He was a construction worker and he was a hard worker and he ate beer, steaks, and eggs every day. Ate eggs for breakfast, steak for night, and drank beer. And the guy was healthy as a horse. They took him off all of that, put him on cereal and low fat stuff like that. He retired from work and then he died shortly later, became immobile and just fell apart.
yeah,
And you know, he had the protein from the eggs and the steak, and the beer was probably keeping his blood thin and all the brewer's yeast and good things that are in it. He wasn't doing bad. He was in good, I do feel that sometimes some of those things actually work better than people believe.
percent. And they're time proven. Like, the thing of it is, if you look at the diets and the things that people are eating in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and you do a screenshot of like a dance parlor, everybody's fit. Everybody's fit. And then you start going every 10 years, it's like, okay, we're getting a little bit puffier, a little bit bigger. And now we're like close to, I think it's safe to say we're at epidemic levels
We
of
are.
unhealthiness with the body. And we can pretty much, bring that back to a lot of the things that have been introduced into the diets, and a lot of stuff introduced to the food and the processed food. And, there's definitely been some type of correlation where things have changed. And as those things changed, our body and our condition of our bodies as a whole have gone downhill with it.
Yes. So true. And all the things. Oh, another thing, one other thing that I noted is back in the old days, they used to use hydrogen peroxide to treat water, and people were doing way too well. Now, this is what I've heard that they changed it to chlorine, and then they used the waste product of fluoride to get rid of it and put it into our water. So those two things were added in replacement of hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah,
Hydrogen
I don't know if
peroxide
you
is just extra oxygen in the
oxygen.
water.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, that is another whole subject, another rabbit hole we could dive down. But look, my teeth are just fine. I don't need any of the flipping, what, put in the water to help me with my teeth. I think I've got that covered with my toothpaste and
No,
with
don't use
whatever
that
other stuff.
toothpaste. No,
Yeah,
no,
but when
no.
they came in and started saying, "Oh, we need to put that in the water," and
Yeah.
why do we need to do that? Oh, because it's going to help people with cavities. Um, I just don't want to start putting out four-letter words, because it goes back to what I was talking about earlier with the mercury fillings and all the other.
Yes,
It's
I got my
like,
mercury fillings removed. I had a dentist fill mine, my brother, my wife, and her brother's teeth with them when we were all young kids. We had mouths full of them.
yeah, yeah, and I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous, but that's the world that says this is what you need to do. And for people like me and you that have seen this now time and time again coming down, I think that for the older group of people, they're probably losing a lot of credibility. The younger people probably are way smarter and looking at that, I would hope, and saying, nah, we're not even going to start with this. But my world is, especially with my mom, and I love her dearly, if they say it on the news, it's 100% real. There's no wiggle room. If they say it on the news, it's 100% real. And if I think that anything is not what they say, I'm the kook. And I'm, like I said, man, I'm totally good with that. And I love my mom, and we're not even having the conversation because I'm not there to convince her that maybe it's not. I'm just going, okay, I heard what they said, but by the way, nowadays we have something called social media, and we have Google, and we have places to source additional information to vet what
Hmm.
that's being said. And I find more times than not that if we start going out there and putting that to the test, it's not necessarily what we think it is. But with all that being said, man, you've got to take life with a smile. You can't get too serious about anything, including all these different subjects. You just have to be open, and you have to do what you can do within yourself, which namely is good exercise, good sleep. Try to do your best with whatever it is that you're eating. And Brett, I want to finish off before we end this call, though, to talk a little bit more about your website, how people can reach you, I want to get the date of that event, and I'm going to have it. The way that we're recording this, I've got, instead of side to side, I've got left and right, but I'm going to put all your information on the left-hand side here so people can reach out to you directly. And if you're in the Melbourne, Florida area, please, you guys know where you're at down there, Cocoa Beach, Cape Canaveral. Go in there and visit Brett. Brett, can you have some type of a promo that you can throw out for anybody watching the video to come in and get introduced and do a session or two with you to introductory?
Yes, I have an
What?
introductory 2-class pack, 2 classes for only $12. And they're the
Oh
ones
my
that
God.
have the stars on them on the website. So you can try them for $6 each and see if you like it before taking more classes. But uh, that would be the easiest way in. And you can just come and pay when you get here, and we'll put you on the schedule. And try it out. Try 2 classes. That's all you need. If you like it, you'll like it. If you don't, you don't. It's worth the try. And that's the price of parking at most places.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And when do you do the sound bowl stuff? When does that actually happen?
It's on the schedule. There's actual it says it's on sound baths. You'll see it if you go on our event
Okay.
schedule page. Right when you get on the website, there's a button right in the middle that says view schedule. Click it, look at the schedule, and I have classes, usually 3 classes a day going on. So I have today I have a 101 class, yoga 101 at noon. And then after that, I have another class. I think that was a fitness yoga. And then I'm not sure what the third one was. I have to go look. But I do have, or no, I have someone else is doing a class here today. But I have 2 classes this morning coming right up. So that's how it goes. I got to just kind of mixed up schedule until we really get things in motion and I get
Yeah.
more teachers on. But if you're a teacher or you are a wellness practitioner and you want to do stuff here, let me know, because this could be great. You could even run like a bigger convention of your own. Like for someone that has some products, like let's say someone at your level that comes in and go, hey, I would like to take your space for like 4 or 5 hours and do my own presentations and everything. People like that have products could do that here.
That is exciting. That is a beautiful space, man. You've done a fantastic job. I mean, everything about it, including the $1 waters and the really low cost nutritional snacks, 5 bathrooms, which is amazing. I mean, so much thought, so much detail, and so well done with all the mats. I love the way you got the sound bowls all set up. That is the secret right there, people,
And
to helping.
these jumbo screens, there's an AI camera, which I got to hook back up. But what it does is it projects the instructor, it follows the instructor around the room and puts them on these 2 big screens. So when you're doing yoga and you're laying on your back and you can't see the instructor, you can look at that. Or if someone's in your way, or if you're facing the wrong way because you're in the wrong warrior and you're facing the other way, you can see what the instructor's doing on the screens.
I love it, man. It's a great call today. Brett, we're going to circle back again here soon to do a follow-up because
Okay.
I want to talk about the project that you're working on with creating this reality TV show.
Oh, one other note. I'm getting ready to release my album. I'm going to start releasing songs. I hopefully have a new song called God Make It My Day. That is the first. I wrote a song that just came to me, and it really felt important at the time to me because I was asking God for help in getting this place open, and suddenly I found a way to get it open sooner, and I got it open, and I wrote the song, and now I want to get it produced, and then I have a whole album that I wrote during COVID. And you can see that on my social media. My social media, I'm Brett Fencel, BRETFENCL, on Facebook and Instagram, Creating Light in the Dark on YouTube, Creating Light in the Dark on YouTube, and on Facebook, I am Enlightening All. So if you go to all those different social medias, you can see what I do and see the different things. I have betterwithbrett.com is the website that's about my yoga and how I got started in it and everything like that too.
That's awesome. I absolutely love it. Brett, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. I'm going to send you a copy of this. I'll get this posted online on our channel, and I look forward to talking again soon, brother.
All right, man. Wishing you an amazing day. Namaste.
Namaste, brother. Thank you so much.